Ronnie, your thoughts on the Snell market this year? I thought it would be mercurial, and it was, but I didn't know where he would land. What do you think?
Well, it was interesting. The last show, probably one of the last shows you and I did at MLB Now before took a little bit of a hiatus, was you were very skeptical of the free agent class and were thinking that maybe it would be difficult for some of these guys to get those monies they thought they would. You were right. A guy coming off a Cy Young year should be the biggest bounce pass natural of all time as far as getting a contract. But there is fear that he's had two outstanding seasons that have produced Cy Youngs, but other seasons that have not been.
2 out of 6, right.
That haven't been of the same quality. But boy, the Giants landed a good one when they got him.
See, right. I can think that and still think I like the signing for the Giants got a lot better with Blake Snell.
Yeah, and I think when you put him in the same rotation as Logan Webb, where you have a guy that shows that consistency that you wish Blake Snell would show on a year-in, year-out basis, at least early on in his career, Logan Webb, you look at that rotation and some of those options, and you start to like it. And even like the Jordan Hicks, going into that rotation, I mean, that could turn out, if he's able to make that move to the rotation, that could be a windfall for the Giants. And then you have Alex Cobb coming back from injury and Robbie Ray as well, that provides some of that depth with plussed up. Alex Cobb has pitched really well for the Giants over the last couple of years.
And it looks like Cobb's going to be back sooner than later, which is a good thing for them. What I find interesting about the Giants is that one of the smartest teams, I think, in the game, right?
Yes.
And when they had all of this money to chase the big fish, right? Yamamoto, Ohtani, they ended up with a school of fish. And those school of fish, when you think about it.
Sometimes you're better off.
Yeah, so they ended up spending it on not only Snell and Chapman, as you mentioned, but Lee, of course, from Korea. They also have Hicks. Soler is another guy in the mix that gives them much-needed power. I think their best home run hitter last year only had 20 home runs, so they need some of that.
I think the National League teams now that are in that middle class, the Mets included, they got J.D. Martinez. You saw that A.J. Preller is not punting. Went out and got Dylan Cease. And now the Giants made these. I think Chapman and Snell make them a lot better. But there's a lot of teams that see there are going to be some wild card spots available in the National League. And I think they're all making the moves toward that. It's surprising to see those are the aggressive teams, kind of the teams that are in that 80-win area.
Yeah, well, they're aggressive, but then they're also set up to be able to beat those good teams by bringing in a guy like Blake Snell. You need those top-of-the-line type of starting pitching in order to be able to move on and advance in the postseason.
If Snell has another good year, does he then get that 7-year, 8-year deal that he was looking for if he backs that up?
Well, that's where the contract comes into play for him. The problem with these 2-year deals with an opt-out clause is that the Giants, only get him back if he has a subpar year.
Right.
If he has a big year, then yes, he'll go back out there. But boy, it's got to be difficult, I think, if you're Blake Snell. And you're happy to get this huge contract, a lot of money, $31 million a year. But it's got to be strange to think, where do I fit in the game when I can win a Cy Young and I don't get...
But you know where he is, Ronnie? He's the highest salaried Giant. Cody Bellinger is the highest paid Cub, salary-wise. Like, they didn't get those blockbuster long deals. But it's nice. I don't know what it's like to be the highest paid guy in a club.
But as a player, you're thinking to yourself, when I put myself in that position, I'm signing a contract with a team which will be my last team.
Right, exactly. But, one thing, too, that going back to Snell's year last year, I liked how he talked about his maturity as a pitcher, a guy that, he figured out who he was really as a pitcher going into last year, struggled a little bit early on, but then really kind of accepted the kind of pitcher he is. And that, I think, takes a lot of foresight as far as understanding what kind of player you are and really feeding into that in order to maximize all your abilities that you have going on the field.
So, we've had a lot of our analysts say that, and it's very possible that he's turned the corner in his career.
It's possible. It's a tough thing as a player, as Ronnie knows. Sometimes, like you could have a good year, but then you feel like you want to try to get better, and you try to maybe do things or make adjustments in order to help your weaknesses when you really have to just keep focusing on your strengths.
That's right.